Level 1. Your daughter is 3 years old, and she doesn't understand why you're leaving. You don't explain it to her. You pick her up, hold her for a moment longer than usual, and hand her to your wife. Sarah doesn't cry. She learned not to. Somewhere around the second time you did this. She just looks at you the way she always looks at you when you're about to go somewhere she can't follow, like she's memorizing something, like she's not sure which version of you is coming back. You're 22. You are standing in a processing line at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, with a package of documents in your hand: service record, fitness scores, psych evaluation, letters of recommendation. The man behind the desk doesn't look at you when he takes it. He just takes it. Your general technical score is 107. Your physical fitness test score is 263. Your record is clean. You meet every minimum requirement MARSOC publishes. You are also aware that meeting the minimums means almost nothing. Historical attrition assessment and selection runs between 50 and 70%. You've done the math. You try not to think about what's on the other side of it. You try not to think about Sarah's face at the door. Level 2. The first 3 weeks are called Phase 1. They don't call it easy. They don't call it hard. They don't call it anything. You execute 300-meter swims in full utility uniform. You tread water unassisted for 10 minutes. You ruck 12 miles with 45 pounds on your back at 4 miles per hour, and you do not slow down. The instructors are present for all of it. They do not speak to you, not to correct your form, not to warn you when you're falling behind, not to tell you that you're doing fine. The silence is deliberate. It is the first thing they are measuring, not whether you can perform, but whether you can perform without knowing if anyone is watching. 2 weeks in, a candidate named Torres drops his ruck during a night movement and sits down in the dirt and doesn't get up. Nobody yells at him. An instructor walks over, stands next to him for a moment, and then walks away. Torres is gone by morning. You say nothing. You keep moving. You learn very quickly that the only conversation worth having out here is the one inside your own head, and that conversation needs to be controlled, or it will kill you faster than the miles will. That night, in the 4 minutes before sleep takes you, you think about your daughter's face, the way she reached for you. You use it the way you use everything out here, as fuel, as a reason. The quitting conversation never gets to finish. Level 3. Phase 2 has no disclosed duration. It runs between 10 and 21 days. You will not be told which day you're on, or how many remain. The human mind, when deprived of timeline, either anchors to something internal, or it unravels. The cadre is watching for which one you do. Sleep deprivation is constant. Caloric intake is restricted. You stop tracking days somewhere around hour 40. Your knees make a sound they didn't make 2 weeks ago. You keep going because stopping means going back to the fleet, and going back to the fleet means becoming someone who tried and didn't finish, and that is not something you are willing to be. You make a mistake on a land navigation course, you correct it without telling anyone. Later, you will learn that a peer evaluation was happening during that exercise, candidates grading each other on team dynamics, decision-making, whether they're the kind of person you'd want next to you in a compound at 0-300. A candidate with a perfect physical performance record is dropped on peer evaluations in the 3rd week. He is physically exceptional. He is also the kind of man who, under stress, becomes someone nobody wants to be around. They drop him quietly. He doesn't understand why. At the river crossing at 0-200, in 52-degree water, an instructor stands on the bank and says nothing. You think about Sarah standing at the door. You cross the river. Level 4. You passed. You are now one of roughly 30% who made it. There is no ceremony. There is a brief acknowledgement, and then the individual training course begins, because the next 9 months do not ease you in. You learn to apply a tourniquet on a man who is screaming and on a man who has gone quiet, because the quiet ones are usually the ones bleeding out. You learn to navigate by stars, by compass, by the specific shape of a ridgeline you memorized from a map 3 days ago. Scout swimmer operations, demolitions, intelligence collection, close quarters battle, mechanical breaching, explosive breaching, precision marksmanship. You run assault operations until your body executes them without asking your brain for permission. The final event is called Operation Derna Bridge. When it ends, you stand in a formation and a piece of rope is placed in your hands, a woven loop, a wooden toggle, honoring the World War II raiders who used the same design for water extractions and cliff climbs. You are pinned with the Marine Special Operator insignia, a gold device featuring a bald eagle, a raider stiletto, the Southern Cross. 2 Latin words, Spiritus Invictus, unconquerable spirit. The men around you don't cheer. They just make room for you. You understand that this is the highest compliment they know how to give. You call Sarah from a payphone outside the barracks. She picks up on the first ring. You can hear your daughter in the background. You don't tell Sarah what the last 9 months were. You just say, I made it. She's quiet for a moment, and then she says, I know, I always knew. You don't cry, you come close. Level 5, you're 23. You are the lowest ranking man on a 14-man Marine Special Operations team, and you carry the heaviest loads, the radio, the breaching kit, the specialized munitions that add 15 pounds to an already unreasonable pack. You carry them because you're the junior man. You carry them without complaining, because complaining would confirm every doubt the senior operators have about whether you belong here. Your first deployment is to a province in western Afghanistan, a dirt floor compound, a cot, a sight line to a ridge line you spend a significant amount of time watching. The team conducts shuras with village elders during the day. At night, you run direct action operations as against target packages developed by people whose names you will never know. On your 41st day in country, your element leader takes a round in an open courtyard and goes down. The training takes over before fear gets a vote. You break cover. You cross the courtyard under sustained machine gun fire, applying a tourniquet while adobe walls fracture around you from incoming rounds. You drag him to safety. You get back in the fight. Afterward, your team sergeant looks at you in the operations center and nods once and says nothing. In the context of this team in this room, that nod means more than any medal, though they give you a medal too, eventually. The Navy Cross. You put it in a box. You don't think about it much. You think about the tourniquet, whether you got it tight enough, fast enough. You will think about that for years. Sarah asks you on a Tuesday night, over a dinner that's gotten cold because you forgot to eat, whether you're okay. You tell her you're fine. She looks at you the way she looked at you at the door, like she's memorizing something, like she already knows the answer and is giving you the chance to tell the truth. You pick up your fork. You don't pick up the conversation. She clears the plates and doesn't push. This is what love looks like in this life. You understand that. You're not sure she signed up for it. Level 6. You're 28. You lead a 4-man element inside the MSOT. The transition from peer to leader inside this specific kind of team is not like any other leadership transition in the military. These are not men who need to be told what to do. Your job is to translate the team commander's broad strategic intent into precise executable action, and to manage personalities that are aggressive and independent in a way that is useful in combat and sometimes difficult in everything else. In the Bala Murghab River Valley, your element is pinned in an irrigation ditch by interlocking Taliban machine gun fire. Tracer rounds pass inches above your men's heads. Air support clearance is denied by a flag officer in an air-conditioned operations center who is concerned about collateral damage optics. You have 2 casualties. The clearance is not coming. You make a decision without authorization and expose bounding retreat. Element leapfrogging under fire, each man covering the next. It works. Nobody dies. You write an after-action report describing exactly what you did and why. You do not apologize for it. Your team commander reads it and signs it without changing a word. You come home to find Sarah has repainted the living room while you were gone, a different color than when you left. She says she needed something to change. You don't ask what she means. You already know. Level 7. You're 33. You are the tactical architect and logistical backbone of the MSOT. Downrange, you track the battle from the operations center, coordinating joint fires, medivacs, logistical resupply, while maintaining the tactical proficiency to be effective if the fight comes to you. The night it comes to you, it comes fast. A breach gone wrong. A tertiary room nobody cleared. You take 2 rounds, one stopped by your plate carrier, one through your left forearm. You finish the clearance. You get a tourniquet on yourself in a hallway while the team secures the objective, because that is what the training made you. You are medevaced. You are back on the team within 4 months. Sarah finds out through the Red Cross notification. She is standing in the kitchen when you call from the hospital. She doesn't say anything for a long time. Then she says your name, just your name. The way she says it, like it's the only word she has left, is the most frightening thing you have heard in 4 deployments. More frightening than the hallway. You lie to her. You tell her it wasn't as bad as it sounds. You both know you're lying. Neither of you knows what to do with that. Level 8. You're 38. You are a master sergeant, the most experienced enlisted man on the team. 12 years in SOF, 4 deployments. Junior CSOs get slightly nervous when they shake your hand for the first time. Your actual role is complicated. You guide a captain, who is younger than you by a significant margin, and still learning things about combat leadership that cannot be taught anywhere, except in the specific pressure of command. You guide him without undermining him. You keep the unit's culture intact through personnel turnover, through the deployments that go wrong, through the ones that leave marks on men, that don't show up on a fitness report. Sarah tells you she wants a divorce on a Wednesday evening in March, not in anger, not after a fight. She sits across from you at the kitchen table, the same table where you've eaten 1,000 silent dinners, and she tells you she has loved you completely, and that she is exhausted, and that she doesn't think either of you is happy, and that she doesn't want your daughter growing up thinking this is what a marriage looks like. You don't argue, you can't. Everything she says is true. You sit there for a long time after she goes upstairs. You look at your hands. You think about all the things these hands have, and you cannot think of a single reason why you didn't do better by her. You don't have an answer. The community's divorce rate is what it is, for reasons that are not mysterious to anyone who has been here. You just didn't think it would be you. You always think it won't be you. Level 9. You're 41. You have been home for 9 days. The neurological damage is real. Repeated blast exposure over multiple deployments has done something to the architecture of your brain that no amount of willpower corrects. Your sleep is broken in a specific structural way. Your tinnitus is constant. Some mornings, your memory moves like something is stuck in it. You are seeing a therapist on Tuesday mornings. You are trying. You have not told the team. Your daughter is 19 now. She drives up on a Saturday and sits with you in the study and asks you questions you don't fully answer. She has Sarah's eyes and your patience and a directness that belongs entirely to herself. She asks if you're okay. You tell her you're working on it. She nods, slowly, carefully, in a way that reminds you of something. Later, you realize it reminds you of the nod, your team sergeant's nod in the operations center 18 years ago. The one that meant, you're one of us. The one that meant, I see you. Your daughter, who has never been to war, and never will if you have anything to say about it, somehow gives you the same thing without knowing what it is. You don't cry. You come close. Level 10. You're 44. You are 3 years out of the community. You work in crisis management, contract advisory work for a government client you cannot name. The work is technically demanding and almost entirely unsatisfying in the specific way that all work outside the team is unsatisfying. It is not the danger you miss, it is the clarity. On the team, you always knew exactly what you were doing and exactly why it mattered. The paddle is in your study. Every man on the team signed the back of it the night they wrapped it in 550 paracord and handed it to you. They spoke, old grievances aired, combat stories told one final time with the volume turned up. Men who do not cry in operational contexts did not manage to maintain composure that night, and nobody mentioned it, and nobody needed to. They handed you the paddle and made room the way they always make room, and that was the farewell. You don't need to look at it to know it's there. On a quiet evening, your daughter calls. She tells you she got the job she wanted. She's laughing, the full version of her laugh, the one that sounds like early mornings, and no weight on it yet. You lean back in your chair, and you listen to her. And outside the window, the light is doing something specific to the trees, the kind of light that only happens for about 10 minutes before dark. And for a moment, everything that cost you something, and everything it made you, exist in the same space without contradiction. You don't have a word for it. You've never needed one. You tell her you're proud of her. You mean it in every direction, forward and backward, who she is and who she's still becoming. She says, I know, Dad. She says, I love you. She hangs up. The house is quiet. In your dreams, you are still there, the river, the courtyard, the irrigation ditch, the hallway, all of it still running, still real. But when you wake up, you know where you are. You know who's waiting for the call back. You don't think that will change.